guys, I'm Miss Mercy by name, and we're going to be looking at an interesting subject which says chemistry. And under chemistry, we are going to be looking at a very interesting question in Jamb 2014. A question that is very interesting. Which says that a 15 cm cube of a 0.25 mol dm per dm cube of sodium hydroxide solution neutralizes 0.5 mol dm per cube of hydrochloric acid. Now we are asked to calculate the volume of the acid. From the question, we are asked to calculate the volume of the acid. How do we do this? The first step to take is to write the balanced chemical equation for your reaction. So let's write down the balanced chemical equation. So our solution. So from the question, it says sodium hydroxide reacts with hydrochloric acid. Sodium hydroxide plus hydrochloric acid. Now, when sodium displaces hydrogen, it reacts with your chlorine to give us sodium chloride plus water. Now, this type of reaction is called a neutralization reaction, whereby an acid reacts with a base to form salt and water. The sodium chloride is our salt, while the H2O is our water. Now we are done with the first step. Let's move on to the second step, which is to use the formula. Now, when we are giving such a question, we are asked to find the volume of the acid. Now, from the question, we are given the concentration of the base. We are given the volume of the base. So let's write down the values given in the question. So we have the concentration of the base. Concentration of the base to be 0.25 mol per dm cube. Then we have the volume of the base to be 15 cm cube. We also have the concentration of the acid to be 0.5 mol per mol dm cube. Mol per dm cube. We also have the volume of the acid is unknown, which is exactly what we are going to be looking for. Now, from the parameters given, you can see that the formula we are going to use to tackle this question is the titration formula. Titration formula, or we can also call it the neutralization reaction formula, which says that the concentration of the acid times the volume of the acid over concentration of the base times the concentration volume of the base is equal to the number of mole of the acid over number of mole of base. Now, mind you, the sodium hydroxide reacted with the hydrochloric acid, they reacted with an equal mole, meaning that the same mole of sodium hydroxide reacted with equal mole of your hydrochloric acid. So looking at this, we have 1 mole of sodium hydroxide reacting with 1 mole of hydrochloric acid. So our number of mole is equal to 1. Number of mole of acid is equals to 1. Number of mole of base equals to 1 from our balanced chemical equation. So what is the next step? Let us substitute the values of each of the compound into the equation, into the formula given. So how do we achieve that? We have concentration of the acid to be 0.5. So we have it to be Ca 0.5 times the volume of the acid, which is unknown. So we give it as V, over the concentration of the base, which is 0.25. So we have it to be 0.25 times the volume of the base, which is 15 cm cube. So we have this, which is also equal to the number of mole of the acid, which is 1, over the number of mole of base, which is 1. So when we have gotten the next step is to cross multiply. So since we are having the same value, we can have this to be 0.5 times 0.5 times V gives us 0.5 V times our 1, which is also equal to 0.25 times 15 times our 1. So how do we get 0.5 V times 1 gives us 0.5 V, which is equal to 0.25 times 15 gives us 3.75 gives us 3.75. Now the next step is to find the value of our V. Now if you notice, our V has a coefficient. The coefficient of our V is 0.5, and in order for us to find the value of V, we need to eliminate, meaning that we need to make V to stand alone. And how do we achieve that? We achieve that by dividing both sides by the coefficient of V, which is 0.5. So we have this to be 0.5 V divided by 0.5 is equal to 3.75 divided by 0.5. So 0.5 divided by 0.5, we have it as 1. So we have this as V is equal to 3.75 divided by 0.5. Now, our V is equal to 3.75 divided by 0.5. Now, you can see that we are dividing decimals. And when we are dividing decimal, the first thing we take note of, without using our calculator, it's very, very easy. How do we divide decimals without using the calculator? Now, what we are going to do here is to look at our divisor here. You can see that our divisor here, the number of decimal digits that our divisor has is 1, meaning that we are going to be multiplying our divisor by 10. Because when we have a decimal digit, the first decimal digit represents 10. So if you are converting a decimal to a whole number, since the number of decimal digits here is 1, you are going to multiply by 10. And whatever we do to the divisor, we also do the same thing to our dividend, meaning that if you are multiplying our divisor by 10, we are also going to be multiplying our dividend by 10. So we have this to be 3.75 times 10 over 0.5 times 10. Now, how do you multiply this without using your calculator? The first thing you need to know that when you are multiplying by 10, the only thing you can do here is just to move your decimal point one time to the right. You move your decimal point one time to the right. So you can see we are moving our decimal point one time to the right. So what will be our value? We have this to be 37.5 over 5.0. So when we have this as our answer, our V now becomes 37.5 over 5.0. Now the 0 after the decimal point is not that necessary. Now what do we do next? We divide. There's a common factor between 37.5 and 5.0. That common factor is 5. So we're going to use 5 to divide the both sides. So 5 divided by 37. 5 divided by 37 will give us 7 remainder 2. Now that remainder 2, we add it to our 5 here, becomes 25. So when we divide again, 25 divided by 5 gives us 5. So, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. So what we are left with is 7.5 over 1. 7.5 divided by 1, our V now becomes 7.5 cm cube. Meaning that the volume of our base, our acid now, volume of the acid is equal to 7.5 cm cube. Now, I hope you have been able to learn something from this. I still remain Miss Mercy. Thank you so much for watching, and may God bless you. Bye.